I'm Natan, and this week in life, the Republican National Convention was held in Charlotte, North Carolina, and in Washington, D.C. Speakers including Ivanka Trump and Tim Scott eloquently glorified the incumbent president, talking about his many accomplishments as president. Trump, of course, accepted the nomination to be the Republican presidential candidate for the 2020 election. In other news, the shooting of African-American man Jacob Blake in Kenosha, Wisconsin, has sparked a surge of even more protests and activism. Even many professional athletes, led by players in the NBA, have decided to stand in solidarity with Blake and his family and call national attention to the tragic police shooting by refusing to play and even threatening to end the season. However, games are scheduled to resume in the next week. Speaking of protests, this week brought us a new March on Washington. The march took place in Washington, D.C. on Friday and was a beautiful way of paying homage and respect to the original March on Washington and the great Martin Luther King Jr. The marchers were also protesting racial injustice and urging people to vote in the upcoming election. Thousands of marchers came from far and wide to participate in the march, with activists such as Frank Nitti walking 25 days from Milwaukee, Wisconsin to participate. One last headline. Chadwick Boseman had tragically passed away this week in his Los Angeles home at the age of 43. The American actor, famous for his major roles in both the Marvel Cinematic Universe and other Hollywood movies, had been battling colon cancer since his diagnosis in 2016. Despite his battle with cancer, Boseman was able to act in an astounding number of movies, including 21 Bridges and Avengers Endgame. A tweet on his Twitter page confirming his passing has since become the most liked tweet ever. I believe that we will all remember Chadwick Boseman for his amazing talent and inspiring perseverance. Now on to This Week in Life in History. On August 24th, 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius erupted in ancient Rome, destroying the cities of Pompeii and Herculaneum. On August 25th, 2003, pro tennis player Pete Sampras retired. On August 26, 1939, the first MLB game was televised. On August 27, 1859, Edwin Drake made the first working oil well in Titusville, Pennsylvania. On August 28, 1955, Emmett Till was brutally murdered. On August 29, 1966, the Beatles played their last concert together. On August 30th, 1967, Thurgood Marshall was confirmed as a Supreme Court Justice. That's all for now, so let's head over to Alexander with This Week in Tech.
Thanks again. This Week in Tech, we're going to talk about stuff. What kind of stuff? Stuffy stuff, like the new world record for the fastest data transfer speeds and NVIDIA's new 12-pin power connector. Firstly, the world record for internet speeds has been broken with speeds up to 178 terabits per second at the University College London. To put that into perspective, streaming full HD 60 FPS video from YouTube takes up to 250 kilobytes per second. That record is 712 times faster than streaming video from YouTube. You could download the entirety of Netflix in under a second with those speeds. UCL researchers say that this is close to the maximum theoretical data transfer speeds possible using fiber optics. Next, or finally, I guess, we're talking about the new 12-pin power connector. This connector has been confirmed by multiple sources showing a Seasonic dual 8-pin PCI Express power connector to NVIDIA 12-pin adapter. Alongside that, the new power connector is tiny compared to an 8-pin PCI Express connector. It's visibly thinner, but also a little wider than a single 8-pin. This is likely to save space on the PCB for other components and features. Anyway, that's all for today on this shorter section of This Week in Tech. Stay safe, stay awesome, and as always, stay smart. Over to Noah with This Week in Sports.
Well, in This Week in Sports, this is part showing bringing you what sports have to offer throughout the course of this week. Right, let's get into it. Our first story is from Lionel Messi, where he has publicly stated that he would no longer like to be a part of Barcelona. Our next story is from the NFL, where the Jacksonville Jaguars have officially traded Yana Ngakoue to the Minnesota Vikings. This is really good for the Minnesota Vikings, so they now have more pass rushing power against more offensive lines. Finally, in the MLB, there has been a trade. Milwaukee Brewers had traded with the Baltimore Orioles for pitcher Tommy Milone. The Brewers have traded 2 yet-to-be-known players in this deal. That's all for This Week in Sports.
Anyway, that's it for this episode of This Week in Like. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Special thanks goes to Natan for This Week in Life, me for This Week in Tech, and Noah on This Week in Sports. Sorry if this video comes out a little late or a little weird, and I'm really sorry about last week's video. Ever since Hannah left to do other important things, it's just been a whole Charlie Foxtrot of stuff going on. It's been really confusing and really complicated, and we haven't really been in too much order. Hopefully by next week we should have things set out. Anyway, that's it, and I will see you next